Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Gallant, and I'm so excited to be sitting in this beautiful room in beautiful downtown Sandwich in our village center in the Sandwich Public Library. And I'm going to talk today with the new director of the Sandwich Public Library, Diane Costagliola. Oh, she is wonderful, and she's so much fun. So come along. We'll have another Cape conversation. Wow, look where I am in front of a beautiful fireplace with a roaring fire, sort of, kind of. And in this beautiful room called the McKnight Room. Where would that be? Well, I'll tell you. I am with our new librarian. You're not new.
5 months.
5 months
New.
old. 5 months. You're new.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diane, and I'm going to screw up your
That's
name.
fine. Costagliola.
Castagliola. Oh, I
you.
just love it. It rolls off the tongue if you just remember how to pronounce it.
Yes, that's true.
Anyway, Diane, welcome to Sandwich.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, what are you doing? You're the librarian now. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm the director of the library. Gosh, what do? I do a whole bunch of things.
Uh-huh.
A big part of my job is personnel and budget and
Aye.
building.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
And you're dealing with a newer building,
An-
old new building.
An old new building. It's sort of an exciting time to be here. The renovation finished in late spring, early summer 2021. So it's an exciting time. Everywhere the staff has been getting used to the new building. I think patrons are still getting used to it, and we're doing a little bit of evaluation too on maybe we need to move this collection, maybe we need to rethink this.
Yeah.
All part of moving into a new place.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. And where do you come from?
I'm from Quincy.
Yeah?
And I started my career in libraries at the Thomas Crane Public Library in Quincy, where I worked for
Wow.
10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wait, you look like you just graduated from college.
No, but
so-
thank you for saying that. I've worked in libraries for 20 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And then most recently, prior to coming to Sandwich, I was director of the Hull Public Library.
So about the same size community, or Hull's a little smaller?
Hull's
I
a little
guess?
bit smaller, so Quincy has a population of over 100,000. Hull is hovering around 10,000. I guess in Sandwich we're about 20.
Right. So you're somewhere in between there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this the first time as the librarian, as the executive?
No, that was a position I had in Hull as
It
well.
is.
So yeah,
No,
this is my
wonderful.
second time being a director.
Excellent. And that's what you're called, right?
Correct.
Library director.
Correct.
Excellent. So what are you, all right, you came in after somebody who'd been here a long time, who had seen this building through its renovation and did a great job. Everything was terrific. But what are you going to do now? Because,
Yep.
you need to put your stamp on it, right?
Sure. I think for me the biggest thing is, what I think is really important as libraries is to make sure that they're serving their community specifically.
Yeah.
So for me, in these past 5 months, and what I'll continue to do is, I'm just trying to learn Sandwich. I'm trying to see what the community values. I'm trying to see how our patrons use the library, both in terms of physical collections and digital resources and the actual building. Trying to figure out what groups maybe aren't coming into the library and how we can get them in here. But for me, it's really about making sure that the Sandwich Public Library serves Sandwich. So there's lots of things, there's lots of trends in the library world. Library of things, right?
Like
Circulating
what?
other objects, circulating a telescope or a sewing machine or whatever. And I think it's important to make sure that whatever we do really matters to Sandwich. One of the things that, for example, in Hull, we did start a library of things. Again, it's a big trend in libraries. But the first thing I bought for Hull were pickleball paddles sets, because Hull has a very vibrant, I think everyone does now, but Hull at the time had a very vibrant pickleball community.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to, again, just think about how we can serve
Sure.
Sandwich.
Sure.
And that for me has been, I'll continue to go on this exploration of what the good people of Sandwich want from their public library.
So besides entry into places like the MFA and all the different places in Boston that you can get tickets for here,
Yes.
or passes to go up
Yes.
there, you're talking about actual stuff.
Yeah.
Hard stuff.
Absolutely. So a lot of libraries, like I said, they'll circulate, like I just said, telescopes, board games, puzzles, a sewing machine, some sort of drill. I mean, anything, musical instruments, craft supplies, baking pans, all of it. I think like public libraries have really in the past few years jumped on board about thinking of their physical collections as more than books and DVDs and CDs, to really think about what items do people want to try on before they make a purchase, to sort of help them in their lifelong learning journey, and how the public library can provide that for them. It's fun to think about. You also have to be a little bit creative about presentation and space and where you're storing these things. Yeah, I mean, the bigger thing is, do we have a closet appropriate to fit all of this?
Right.
What does this actually look like?
Right.
So I think that you'll probably see us doing that over the coming year. I think, though, one of my first priorities here is about the building. In terms of, the renovation is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We have great sight lines. We have beautiful natural light. I love all the white shelving. We also are missing some features that people loved prior to the renovation. We don't have as many tables. I mean, people, I think, also really liked some of the big artwork on the walls. I think that there was
you do
some,
have the SAA here.
yes, which is beautiful, which you could talk
turns
about.
over,
Incredible. When you
yeah.
come in the library in that hallway, the ongoing display, the changing display from Sandwich Arts Alliance is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And we're so happy to be able to work with that group and feature their work here. And it's fun just to see people come in specifically for that, or just as they're walking by, just stop and take a peek.
Sure.
But I think that we're excited, all of us on the staff, to rethink our renovation. And I've been working on a survey to send out to our patrons via our newsletter. They'll probably say it another month or so, just looking for some feedback about what their ideal library looks like, what they love about the renovation, what they may want to see adjusted.
Well, it's kind of like moving into a house.
100%.
You move into a house and you put your furniture around, then you go, 6 months later you go, no, I want the couch in the middle of the room,
Right.
in front of the fireplace and the 2 chairs here. I want this there. No, I don't want that painting of Aunt Agnes hanging over the fireplace. I want something else.
Absolutely.
So you have to live with something for a while before you know, I think. Don't you?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
definitely new house-itis. That's why I said, like, now that the staff has been in here for 2 years and the patrons have been coming in, it's time to be like, all right, what do we need to move around?
Yeah.
Does it really make sense for Mysteries to be here? Do we need another table here?
Yeah.
Should this teen area look a little different? But I really just want some patron feedback to understand how people are using the space and what they'd like to see.
Well, 100 years ago, we did a murder mystery in the library.
So fun.
Yes, it was great fun. And we've done other things here, musical events and whatever. So hopefully that'll start up and continue again. I know you've had some great talks. I came to one about ghosts.
Yeah.
The guy was very weird and funny.
Yeah. As he should be.
As he should.
If that's
I mean,
what
really,
you're
this
doing.
is what you do for a
Yeah,
living.
yeah.
Okay. I think he did something else too, like, I don't know. I was going to say worked at Blockbuster, but there aren't any anymore. I don't know what he did.
Yeah.
But it was very good. It was really, really good and very interesting. So you're going to continue those things through the lectures.
Definitely continue. I think programming is just such a huge part of public libraries. And just like in the children's room, we'll always be doing story times.
That's nice.
Yeah, different craft projects. We have this great group of students that are probably like 8, 9, 10 that have a sewing group.
Oh my
They're
God.
they're
It
delightful
must be
to see.
adorable.
Yeah,
Do you have
absolutely
pictures
adorable.
of them?
Yeah, I don't, but they're very cute down there. And our children's librarian is so great working with them and showing such patience with them. So, and the staff, especially the children's room, so good about scavenger hunts. They're already talking about summer reading. And all of the children's staff. Melissa does teen staff, Pam and Lar doing all of the children's staff. And then for adults, Sandy Murray does just an incredible job coming up with adult programming. And obviously we're so lucky to also partner with Tidcoms for certain
Sure.
author events.
Sure.
Just incredible. And we'll definitely continue on
Yeah.
with programming.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, speaking of children, so now who does the storytelling now? Because, we all love Stu.
Yeah. What's funny is Stu obviously retired before I started here.
Yes, he did.
However, he's on a committee here related to all the events going on this coming year for Thornton Burgess.
Yeah.
So I tease Stu. I mean, I feel like he's here once a week. I feel like I have a
You don't have to
relationship
pay
with
him.
Stu.
That's even better.
Stu's always around, and what's so nice is truly when patrons see him in the building and the staff, everyone just lights up.
Yeah.
So funny. So Pam and Laura do our story times.
That's wonderful.
Also, Judy, who works in the children's room, does some great book clubs with 4th and 5th graders. Melissa as well. Like that staff across the board, they're so invested in engaging the youngest patrons of Sandwich.
Oh, that's terrific.
And it's so, I mean, it's what, inspired me as a kid.
Yeah.
I always say that for me, I have a very clear memory of my mom bringing me to the North Quincy branch of the Thomas Crane Public Library, and I'm young, I don't know, 3 or 4, and I'm like, wait a second, I can take home any of these books? She's like, yeah, please limit yourself to 10. And then she would have me open the books to the checkout card and carry them up like that. And Mrs. Rowe, the librarian there, was so kind to me. And to me, it was just as a young reader, and also just my parents were great at reading books too,
Yeah.
my sister and I. The public library, I loved it.
Yeah.
And then, I always like to share this, but that same librarian, when my older sister got a library card, said to me, do you want your own library card? You have to be able to write your first name. And I couldn't write my first name yet.
So you learned.
I was 4, and I went home and practiced so that
That's
I could
cute.
get my own library card. So I know that when kids are in the room, it is a really special moment for them.
Sure.
And especially for kids that aren't in school, it's the other place that they get to go. And it's just really fun. And those adults play big roles in their lives.
Sure.
Yeah.
And do you have an active teen program here? Because you know how kids are.
Yeah.
Especially now, everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
They've got the world in their hand.
Yeah. Melissa does a great job of coming up with teen programming. Just last Friday, we had this group come in, one-up games, and they had set up downstairs in both meeting rooms all these monitors and games. We had like at least 30 teens,
Wow.
tweens and teens down there. She has great turnout at her book clubs. She's organized some study space for them, the schedule over the next few days, because I believe they're in midterm exams at school. And she really works hard at trying to engage teens. And she has a great group of volunteers that are just some of the nicest kids I've met that will come to library events and help us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I think it's just really important for those kids to know that we're here for them.
Well, and it also gives them a sense of community,
Mm-hmm.
which is really, really important.
Yeah, it's huge. And I think that's one of the nice things. It's sort of a dated term now, but I think public libraries for so long have wanted to be the third space.
Yeah.
I think now we all sort of know, and people have said this, this isn't a Diane Costagliola original thought, but that like our phones are our third place now.
Right.
But sort of thinking about the importance of the physical library still, and that it is, like it's a place that people can come. You don't have to buy anything.
Right.
You can find things, you can just sort of hang out in a comfortable chair, you can do whatever you want to do, and like all are welcome, and it's free to all.
It was very funny. I worked in Mashpee for many years.
Okay.
And I was on the library committee for the building of the new Mashpee Library
Okay.
at Mashpee Commons. They had built an old, very small library there when Mashpee Commons was coming out of the ground, and then obviously it just became too small. Now they have the giant building. It looks like it belongs in Quincy or something.
Right.
It's a giant building. And I was on the committee. What was interesting was the number of people said, well, who would use a library now? And boy, are people wrong about that, because people use libraries not only just to take books in and check books
Yeah.
out, right?
Mhm.
Or digitally to go on, but it's a place for conversation. It's a
Yes.
place to bring your laptop when your internet goes out.
Yeah.
It's so much more. It has become so much more, I think.
I think what's also fun for me is that we have our regulars, and a bunch of our regular patrons, I mean, people think like, oh, of course, it's like parents with their kids, or maybe it's a senior citizen that wants to read the paper. But we have a lot of adults that are in here regularly that are, in my mind, obviously students or working from home for a different location.
Sure.
Lots of adults coming in with their own devices and either sitting at the tech bar or booking our little nook area out here. And I think it really is a nice option. Like, for a change of scenery, yeah, like I said, there's free Wi-Fi. It's a
Right.
pretty nice building to hang out in.
Right.
And I think I would just like to see even
And it's
more of
quiet.
that. It's quiet, except for the librarians, which is at every library. The loudest people in the library are always
the
the librarians.
Who's shushing them?
Yeah, no one. Although I will say, I've many of times have been shushed by a patron. Always, always.
That's funny.
But I do think that it's surprising, I think, to some people, but no, there's lots of adults that come in here to use the space.
And that's what it should be.
Absolutely.
Right,
I love to see it. And I want to make sure that we have the resources that they need, including furniture that accommodates them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So what about you, though? You as a person.
Yeah.
Diane, the person.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
just the library director,
Yeah.
but so you commute, as I always say, the right way.
I
'cause
do
you're
commute the
coming
right way.
Right,
I
you're
do
coming
commute
to the
right way.
Cape,
Yes.
not leaving the Cape, so that's the good news.
Correct. And I enjoy my commute to an extent. I'm crushing audiobooks, and I have frequent conversations with my sister.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
That's really nice. And then I don't know, what else would you like to know about me?
Well, do you still live in Quincy?
I do live in Quincy right now. When I'm not being the director of the library, I do teach a writing course at Northeastern.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've taught at Northeastern for about 13 years now.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I always teach online. It's not a pandemic thing. Occasionally
Yeah.
I teach in person, but
Yeah.
I mainly teach online, and I teach a professional writing class to business and management students,
Oh, nice.
which is it's a very practical and fun, I think, writing class.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that takes up quite a bit of my time.
I would think, how many days do you teach?
Well, it's like I said, because it's online,
Yeah.
the course content sort of gets rolled out on a Sunday.
Right.
And then they have, it's like coming home to answering emails.
My
and grading
daughter is an
assignments.
adjunct
Okay. Yeah.
professor, and
Yeah.
so she does that. She teaches online at various places too.
Yeah.
So, but Tuesday nights for her, don't bother me on it because she's actually online on Tuesday nights. Do you
Right.
do that as well?
I don't do that. I sort of
You're
leave
lucky.
it open. Yeah, I leave it open to my students that if they want to have a meeting, that
Yeah.
we can arrange
Oh,
a
that's
time.
great.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, and what do you think about Sandwich? Had you been to Sandwich before? Had you ever heard of us?
I definitely had heard of Sandwich before. I have a very funny memory. I think probably I'm in the first grade. I'm down here with my parents. We went to the Glass Museum. I still have this glass panda bear. As someone that would come to the Cape, Sandwiches, like, you've made it, right?
Yeah.
You've gone over the bridge.
Right.
Maybe you'd hit up the Christmas tree shop. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? But I always think there's something
Yeah.
very fun about that. So I knew it was a great town coming into it. Another thing for me is that when I worked at the Thomas Crane, I had to attend, and the Thomas Crane's a totally different beast. Very busy, large urban library.
Yeah. Isn't that
Very-
funny? You don't think of the hall as being, but it is urban.
Right. Oh no, but this is about Quincy.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
okay.
Quincy. So very different patron needs.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Very different
Yep.
experience. And I got sent down here to go to a local history roundtable. It was just a network-wide meeting. And I drove on down to Sandwich. I was probably 27 at the time. And I remember walking into this library, and thinking, oh, wait, this is so sweet. This
Yes,
is the nicest library
It's a sweet little library.
I've ever seen. And we were in a meeting room that's now the children's room since the renovation. It was just
Yeah.
all windows.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is amazing. And it sort of became kind of a joke, but I would say to people, at some point I'm going to work at the Sandwich Public Library. At some point I'm going to work
threw it
there.
out to the universe.
I totally threw it out there. And then being the director of Hull, it's still part of the Old Colony Library Network. So I saw Joanne regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point I even came down here to see her and to visit Deb Rich, our archivist, who I did work with in Quincy, and to see the renovation.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember even walking around, I was like, man, at some point
I want to be.
I would love to be here.
Yeah.
And then when the job was posted and Joanne announced her retirement, I was like, oh, I was very happy in Hull.
Sure. Sure.
And then I talk about my sister a lot, but I remember saying to my sister, I was like, oh, a sandwich is open. She's like, oh, you're going to apply, right? And I was like, I don't know. And Susan was like, what? Like,
Of course.
yeah, like you've talked about this. And
Forever.
I was like, oh, the time, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then when I came down for my first interview, I had this moment just outside these doors looking out the windows. The windows here are so beautiful out there. Huge windows. And I love a historic building or a historic home. And I felt my bottom lip quiver, and it wasn't from nerves. I was like, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And I
And
still
look,
feel
you
that way,
are.
and I'm here. And I truly feel, as woo-woo as it sounds, I truly feel that I feel like I'm in the right place right now, for sure.
Well, I mean, so far you've gotten rave reviews, at least from the
Thank you.
women that I know that come into the library
Thank
all
you.
the time, which is a wonderful thing. And the good news is, though, I mean, you're in the village center. You know,
Yeah.
this building almost moved. I don't know if you knew
I've
the
heard
history.
this,
Yes,
yeah.
out to where everything else is out in the middle of Sandwich, and I understand that there's certainly a lot of people. The majority of people live out there, but there's something about the village center that is so special, so special.
For me personally, I just love that. I love to walk. Patrons will comment that they'll see me outside, but I'm so excited that we are here and
Yeah.
that I can walk to Snowy Owl for coffee. I can get a brownie at Beth's.
Right,
I can get a
right.
snack at Brown Jar- I mean, I'm happy to be here. I've already purchased like a lot of, birthday gifts for random people in my life at the stores out here.
Sure.
It's so beautiful, and
Yeah.
it's so nice to be in that sort of setting. And these are our neighbors, so it's
Right.
really fun to have all these businesses right around us and to sort of be in this little bustling neighborhood.
Well, what's really funny to me is the Sandwich Arts Alliance has been in the former town hall, the
Right.
bottom half of the former town hall, which is still the town hall upstairs, but downstairs is all Arts Alliance, you
Yeah.
know, the cultural folks. And what I find interesting is that if you tell people where we are and use the town hall, they don't quite know. But if you say, oh, we're just down the street from the library, they know where we
Right.
are. It's a
Right.
bizarre thing. It really is.
Right.
I mean, the library is the stable, really the pinpoint for our community. That
Yeah.
and the Glass Museum, I have to admit that
Of
too.
course,
The
of
Glass
course.
Museum as well. But it is just so, it is so amazing that it's such a vibrant center for our community.
I think, yeah, it's a wonderful location. And it is interesting, like you were saying, when there were thoughts of moving the library. And I think that I'm sort of curious in exploring that, not in terms of moving, but would it serve, for example, the patrons of Sandwich well to have a book return somewhere else in town?
Oh, sure, I could see that.
Lots
sure.
of towns have started purchasing sort of these like vending machines that you can get for new books. Other places have these setups like those Amazon lockers where you could pick up your holds at another location. So I think that's also something that I'm sort of just in very early stages about brainstorming to think
sure.
about how we could expand services beyond what we have here in this building.
Well, you're all about customer service.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yes.
So, now, so tell me, have you joined any groups or organizations since you've been here?
I'm on Glasstown Steering Committee.
Oh, yeah.
Which has been so fun to be a part of that because, again, it's fun for me to be involved in the community.
The cultural district.
The cultural district. It's fun for me to be involved in the community in a different way. And yeah, it's so fun, to be part of the conversations about the lights.
Oh, yeah,
and
new lights.
Yes, and how we want to, like, what other things we could do as the cultural district to
Right.
get more people here, or all the conversations about changing out the banners, all of it. To me, it's so fun to be involved in the
Oh,
community.
some of
in
it's
that
so small town.
But
Oh, my
but
God.
it's fun to be engaged in the community that way outside of being the library director.
Sure.
So I've been thrilled about that. And then otherwise, I'm still just trying to meet people.
Oh.
I mean, one of the nice things, again, about Sandwich is that Town Hall is wonderful.
Yeah.
The people that work at Town Hall are wonderful. I feel incredibly supported by our town manager and our assistant town manager and the finance director. And it's been fun for me to meet other department heads and everyone that works at town hall. And likewise, we have a very supportive board of library trustees, a wonderful friends group. You know, it's sort of perfect in that way. There's a lot of love for the Sandwich Public Library out in the community.
Well, you have a very active friends group. I know that for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah, they are, and they're so generous. Other library directors will complain at times like, oh, my friends group are sitting on all this money. They won't give me certain money for programs or whatever. Our friends group is so generous. Not only are they're killing it in terms of fundraising, and they're so passionate about being out there in the community, but they are so good about supporting all of our programming and
that's great.
never really questioning any of it and just being, again, truly supportive.
So, what is one thing you would like to see happen here in the next 2 years? You thought about anything like that? You know, like something.
Yeah.
I know the things. What did you call that?
Library of Things.
The Library of Things. I just
Yeah.
love that. I love that. It almost sounds like something like a Netflix show. Library of Things.
I think, and I have touched on this a little, I think evaluating the physical space is going to be interesting for me. And I think that will be great for our patrons. I'm sort of excited to, libraries are constantly weeding their collections and rethinking how they're purchasing. We will continue to do that. I'm excited to sort of rethink certain things. But even for me, again, having only been here for 5 months, I think a new book section when you come into the library should be the most exciting place in the library. In ours right now, it's sort of like in a corner, kind of some chairs blocking in it. It's not super exciting. I also always say, and it's not because of the collection, by the way, we have a great new books collection, but the display could use some work. I think libraries are magical, and I love an element of whimsy. I say this all the time, so I would just sort of love to see us grow into the space and sort of bring back a little bit of magic to the space so that patrons are truly thrilled to walk through the doors.
Not so maybe cut and dried, so sterile.
Correct.
Right.
Which is
right.
part of what happens after, right? Everything's clean lines, new renovation.
And that's the way, it's modern.
Exactly.
It's all about being modern.
And I sort of feel like now is the time to move in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Have a little bit more. It's just some design stuff. And again, just to sort of think about, we have no signage.
Yeah.
So to sort of address some of the building things,
Sure.
I think it will be my primary focus over the next 2 years for sure.
Well, that's wonderful. By the way, the woman who has a store across the street that has the lighted tree,
Yeah.
Lee,
Yeah.
she used to work on displays at Filene's 100 years ago.
Well, then I should talk to her about
You
merchandising.
need to talk to her about
She's a
merchandising.
delight. She's so nice.
She's so nice,
Yeah.
and she does a great job in her own store.
Yes,
Maybe she'll
absolutely.
give you a couple of tips. I love the idea of
Absolutely.
whimsy.
Yeah.
I think that would be great. That
Yeah,
would be
that's
for sure.
That's what I would love to see here.
That's great.
And I think that we can do it. I'm also so lucky. It's the best staff.
Yeah.
There's just an incredible staff here. They're
Yeah.
so good at their jobs. They are happy to be here. They love to engage our patrons.
That's great.
So yeah, we have the staff is awesome. Our
Yeah.
patrons are amazing. I
That's
love,
great.
they'll pop into my office, throw ideas at me. Like, it's so nice. It's really fun for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, really.
Well,
nice.
it's wonderful that you're open about all that. It's
Yeah.
wonderful that you're here.
Thank you.
I hope we've given a glimmer of how
Yeah.
you are, who you are as a person, and I would hope everybody comes in and says hello.
Same. I really appreciate, in our weekly newsletter, once a month, I have a little letter from the director, and I usually just share what I'm reading or, what's going on. But it's been fun for me. People will send me an email based on like, hey, have you read this? Or, hey, I'm super excited that you're going to be doing this. I love that kind of engagement.
Sure.
And like I said, people will pop into my office throughout the day just for 3 to 5 minutes to introduce themselves. And I love being able to engage with people
That's
in that
great.
way. So
That's
I
great.
encourage it.
Good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Diane.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
So
So
good
fun.
to get to know you more.
Yes.
I kind of know you from some other things, but
Yes.
it's so nice to get to
Oh,
know
this
you
was
more.
wonderful. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to the Sandwich Public Library.
I am thrilled to be here. Thank you. Wow, Diane is such a lovely person. She's young, she's vibrant. Oh my gosh, she's got so many plans for wonderful things here in the library. She loves Sandwich. Came here as a little girl, has always loved it. Visited Sandwich, said one day she was going to be the library director here, and the universe answered her, and here she is. We are lucky to have her. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time on another Cape Conversations.